Battlefield 6 seemed a little bit too good to be true, and maybe now it is. If you've seen the ongoing controversy around Battlefield Redsec, then let's dive into some of the details as to why the Battlefield community are so divided over this free-to-play Battle Royale addition to Battlefield 6. Now, Redsec is the name for Battlefield's add-on game. It just got shadow dropped on October 28th. I guess various insiders knew that it was going to happen. But yeah, I didn't really realize what this thing was until it was in the PlayStation trending sale, the trending charts anyway. And, it's had a massive initial reaction, over 500,000 players on Steam, joining Battlefield 6's overall positive reception. That thing sold over 7 million units in the first 3 days, a massive return to form for the IP overall. Because if we're talking about Battle Royale and we're talking about Battlefield, you can go back to Battlefield 5 at the end of 2018, November 2018, and that game getting a Battle Royale mode in March 2019, many months after the game had, kind of came and went. Battlefield 5 was a bit more of a divisive release overall back then. So still, overall, BF6 doing very well. And a part of the run-up to launch was this whole positioning of the game as something that Call of Duty wasn't. It was just going to be this, way more serious, gritty, a return to boots-on-the-ground gameplay and nothing, over the top in regards to the destruction, but it wasn't going to have over-the-top skins. It wasn't going to have a focus on Call of Duty Warzone. It wasn't going to have all that kind of stuff. You even have had specific quotes from EA's technical director, or DICE's technical director, Christian Buhl, talking to IGN in September, saying that, they're building a gritty, grounded, realistic shooter. That's what we intend to be, and that's what the game is going to look like for a while. That is now up for grabs in regards to what Battlefield Redsec represents, because it seems like a lot more focus is being put into this ongoing, multiplayer platform Battle Royale free-to-play than Battlefield 6 itself, and fans are mixed as to the way that things are rolling out. Redsec itself did also have various bugs and server dropouts when it launched. That's likely just because of the amount of people that were playing it. And there's also the fact that, they didn't really talk that much about the idea of a Battle Royale mode being plugged into Battlefield 6, which a lot of people do just run for the hills when they hear about Battle Royales. That genre, that mode has kind of come and gone to a degree. But obviously Call of Duty Warzone is still one of the biggest names in the game. And as we'll talk about, it seems like EA were forever wanting to, do the comparisons, have Battlefield Redsec in that conversation alongside Call of Duty Warzone, even though for the most part in the marketing and the run-up to launch, it was all, hey, look, we're focusing on, the multiplayer, the campaign. We're not going to do this forever ongoing live service component, which now they do have. A lot of people who are playing Redsec say that the general feel when it comes to, moving through the map, hoovering up the loot, engaging with other players, that does just remind them of Call of Duty Warzone. And it's strange timing because this year, Call of Duty isn't doing very well. Like the player numbers in regards to Black Ops 7's early access, the beta, it peaked at like 75,000 players, whereas Battlefield 6 had something like 500,000. Like Battlefield is absolutely dog-walking Call of Duty this year. Even though if you go down the specifics of different packages that you can pre-order, Call of Duty is still doing strong enough, but it still feels like it's Battlefield's year. Like the general response to Black Ops 7, during the Summer Game Fest was pretty damn negative. And like I said, everything, the runway is clear for Battlefield to do very well, and it had done in the run-up to launch. But as I say, people playing Redsec say that there's a lot of Warzone comparisons in here, even though the reality of development time means that there's no way that EA could have predicted, or DICE could have predicted, that Black Ops wasn't going to go down too well in this particular year. Still, it's a shame on the Battlefield side to get a main game that is so distinct and is such a return to form, only for the plugged-in free-to-play Battle Royale component to be so reminiscent of the thing that so many people are so vehemently against in regards to, Warzone and the way that Call of Duty handles its Battle Royale. To get more specific, a lot of fans saying that, the map size in the Redsec map is so much bigger than anything that's in the Battlefield 6 main game, which is obviously the premium game that a lot of people have paid for. And that comes off the beta around Battlefield being talked about as being disappointing because they didn't launch, or they didn't test out the bigger maps, which meant the fan base had to kind of lean back on like, well, I'm sure it'll be fine come launch. And there are bigger maps in there compared to what was in the beta, but still the biggest map that you can see in regards to Battlefield 6, the newest era of Battlefield, is in the Battle Royale, and that's just a bit of another blow. Like, and also the fact that it's free to play, you can kind of just hang back, play the free to play Redsec version of Battlefield and have a fun enough time, have something closer to a Battlefield experience. All the vehicles are in there. You can squad up with your friends. You can have a Battlefield in the free-to-play component in a way that you arguably can't in a lot of the matches in the standard modes, the grounded stuff, the conquest, that kind of thing, in the standard Battlefield 6, which is another reason why the game is being so negatively received and why it's being completely review bombed over on Steam. The console side of things is a little bit more positive, but we still have a general conversation around where was the focus in development and why wasn't this talked about more, and why is there, such a weird push towards this Battle Royale live service component when a lot of it, from the fan perspective, they thought that they finally realized what the hell they should deliver. And it is one of those, it was too good to be true things, because we always knew EA were on the publishing side and they were not just going to put so much money into the single player story mode and then the online multiplayer thing without plugging in a whole bunch of microtransactions and different ways to get recurrent spending methods going forward. It's worth just pointing out that conversation around the map size, the idea that the biggest map, the most identifiable style of Battlefield gameplay is in the free-to-play Battle Royale mode, is that just a way to get, established Battlefield players who were looking for bigger maps and bigger interactive, gunfights and more over-the-top interactions with other players? Is that just a way to get them to play the Battle Royale mode no matter what? One of the main things that is peeing the fan base off royally is that a lot of the progression in Battlefield 6 is fundamentally tied to Redsec. Now, there are ways that you can grind out a lot of the weekly challenges within Battlefield 6, but a lot of the more speed boosts and the more efficient ways of getting through your challenges, it forces you into the Battle Royale mode. It forces you to, take part in a mode that's likely not what you bought Battlefield 6 for. I've seen that, literally mentioned over in a headline on Windows Central, and that a lot of people already paid the premium price point to get the new Battlefield, and now they're being asked to play this free-to-play spin-off mode that isn't why they showed up in the first place and isn't what EA/DICE were profiling in the run-up to launch either. It is just, it brings up that whole conversation on that idea of, one of the biggest maps in Battlefield history is locked to this Battle Royale mode, at least for now, and is that just a way of getting established veteran Battlefield players who thought they knew what they were getting over into the Battle Royale, because that's where they can try and tempt you with different skins and different recurrent spending methods, and is that the actual play? That feels like something more akin to what EA is known for, and I wouldn't put it past them. The last thing to touch upon is just the idea of the skins and the general presentation of this Battle Royale mode. There's already been a bit of a controversy around a skin that was too green, it was too hyper-coloured, and it was toned down with the release of Redsec and the Season 1 update for Battlefield, with a lot of fans saying, like, oh, at least they listened. They didn't stick to this more over-the-top neon skin that you could get in the game. I think it's called, like, Ground Zero or something. But it's part of that conversation which DICE weighed into, in the run-up to launch, saying that they're not going to be having over-the-top skins and over-the-top presentation. They're going to be doing something that is more in line with, being a gritty return to what Battlefield is known for. And obviously they were referencing, without saying it specifically, Call of Duty Warzone and a lot of the ridiculous over-the-top skins that game has had added to it, whether it's Nicki Minaj or, King Kong and Godzilla or whatever. People just want a stock, more realistic, more authentic military FPS. It's why something like Ready or Not has blown the hell up across this year, and even why something like Helldivers 2 has done so well. Even though obviously it's a sci-fi game, it still has realistic shooting, and it's not surprising you with the add-ons every other month in regards to what gets put in the official store that you're just expected to factor into the canon of the thing that you're playing. But yeah, in regards to Battlefield, it's so good, it's so well handled for the most part, but sadly, we do have all the Redsec stuff to throw alongside, which is muddying the waters, to say the least.